Hey guys, Zeno here, and today I'm going to be giving my first impressions of the Hotline Miami 2 level editor. Essentially, this thing will do everything that you need and want it to do, however, it will do it with an added layer of frustration. It's very functional at the current moment. Granted, it's in beta, but it's very functional, however, there are some issues. The first and foremost issue I actually encountered was the fact that I couldn't scroll the screen anywhere than in the top right corner of the map that I was building on, which made a huge pain in the ass and greatly limited what I wanted to make. Several times I would have to take down my entire level, then rebuild it in a different section so that I could actually make the level I wanted to make. Furthermore, the snap-on system doesn't quite work correctly, or, well, it does work correctly, but it doesn't work in the way that you would actually like or prefer it to. What you would like it to do is probably snap onto the grid, which is what I expect it to do. Instead, it only causes items to snap onto walls, which makes level geometry and stuff incredibly difficult, especially if you're trying to make everything look organized and nice and neat. Now, within the level editor, you can make entire chapters, entire campaigns, which is great. All this stuff seemed to work fine. The save function worked fine. However, speaking of the save function, there needs to be an autosave function, especially at this state. Hotline Miami has, just the entire series as a whole, has had a pretty good reputation of pretty unstable releases. The first game had a pretty bad launch. The second game wasn't much better. I was having a lot of issues with it. It was a lot of fun, don't get me wrong. These games are fucking excellent. I love them both. But they've had very buggy launches, and they're just very buggy in general. And this one keeps up the tradition. It crashes a lot. It's probably crashed 3 or 4 times throughout the maybe 4 hours I was messing with this thing while I was trying to build one single floor of one single level. It crashed a ton. Granted, the level I was building, why it took so long is because it relied on a lot of timing. And speaking of timing, the game's AI has had a lot of issues ever since the beginning game. It's been slightly inconsistent and just inconsistent enough to occasionally break a level. On the level I'm trying to create, which is heavily dependent upon AI being consistent and AI doing the same thing over and over again so that timing will be correct for the player, it was pretty frustrating to have to try to accommodate for this, especially because now at the beginning of every single level, it'll cut off the first 3 seconds whenever you respawn. Ordinarily, whenever you respawn in a Hotline Miami game, you will just immediately exit your car, you'll step out, you'll choose your mask, you'll choose your fan, you'll choose whatever, pull the shotgun out of the back seat, whatever you're gonna do, and then it lets you start the level. However, for whatever reason in the level editor, it'll start you about 3 seconds into the level. Whether that moment in time is after you've killed the first guy, or after the first guy has seen you. That messes with a lot of the timing incredibly badly because it also repositions every single NPC back to where they start, except for the guy you just killed or saw. So I had to accommodate a lot for that just to make sure that this level would actually work correctly. However, there is a great selection of props. You have a selection of every single character. Every single character, however, is limited to the weapons and enemies they would naturally be fighting in their timeline and game, which I felt was a little bit arbitrary, but I wasn't too worried. There's actually an addition of a new character called the Hammer. He's pretty much just Jacket. There's not much that's changed with him. He's based off of a live performance based off of Hotline Miami or something like that. I didn't quite read up on it, but it's pretty cool that he exists. Essentially, he's like the PC character that the creators at Denaton want us to make the story for, which is pretty cool. He's also, speaking of which, the only NPC that has access to pretty much every gun as well as every single enemy type in the game. Not that it matters because the vast majority of the enemy types are actually just reskins. They're almost all completely identical. The same issues with the AI pathing exist in this that they did in the original game. I wasn't expecting too much out of that. It's not a huge big deal. It's these little nitpicky things that really fuck with the entire experience that bugs the hell out of me. But as a general whole, I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed making the level I made. I would like to spend some more time with it, and I'd like a little bit more time to actually do a further in-depth review, but I think I'm going to have to call it quits here. I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm just going to go ahead and showcase the level that I made.